Hey guys, it's Mystic Seer here, and today we're going to be talking about one of my biggest experiences that just got me into the realm of trying to figure stuff out over here on like the quote unquote supernatural stuff. Because this stuff is real, whether or not you want to believe in it. How many times we've been proven wrong throughout history that, somebody has a theory and then it comes to be true. Arthur C. Clarke, about what's the quote again exactly? Oh yeah, like magic and all this stuff is science that we just don't understand yet. In which case, yeah, that's pretty much what it is. And so today I'm going to be sharing with you just something that was like very personal story, not like nasty personal or nothing. Don't worry about that. Just simply something that got me into the realm of just this. Because before all this, I was never really interested. Like, I thought it was interesting, but it was something I wasn't really studying at the time. So, anyway, here we go. And just to preface it, that, sometimes this isn't a easy story to tell, because, like, it is pretty strange. But, like, everybody else that's done it before me, like, I'm going to do it. Because I know other people out there have had these kinds of experiences, and you know what? If my story can help somebody come out with theirs, and want to share it and not be ridiculed or anything, then I did what I was planning on doing here. Like even like the U.S. government right now. I mean, just with President Trump, for example, like him or hate him, but he's definitely like trying to say that like, hey, we can handle this. The American public can handle the truth about all these technologies, people from other worlds, like just all this secret stuff. Like, we can handle it. And like, he even said that in his first term, in which case didn't happen, but understandable, because overall in the black budget part of things, whoever's on top is here. And since the president's only a temporary employee, technically, of the United States, they're down here. So they don't exactly get all the info. Some of them have throughout history, but you never really know which president is going to get what information because it's all classified. But anyway, here we go. All right, so basically the story starts like, God, years ago. Like, I can't even really give you a year. It was probably around 2013, 2014, something like that. Even though in a previous video, my Why and UFOs video, which I can put up like over here or even link it. But like how I said before, I had like experiences throughout just like my childhood and all that, and like even my teenage years of just weird supernatural phenomena. And like, I just never really knew what it was back then, so I just didn't really pay attention to it. Like, and a couple of those experiences, I was so young that it just never occurred to me. Not even until later when I found out like ufology and all that stuff. But anyway, this was like right after the triangle video I had talked about in the Y plus UFOs video. After the big triangle, which was like the moment that got me into it. And experience before that, I'll be making in another video because that one's even a harder story to tell. But it was right after the triangle thing, right after the big triangle. And after that, I just started seeing these ships or these orbs or whatever they were everywhere. Started seeing them just so often, and would always be like close by. Not just, something that you would see in a distance up in the sky so far away and you just see a weird whoosh. It wasn't anything like that. It was like close. And I'm not sure if that was just me perceiving them or if they were actually there. And yeah, seems crazy. But anyway, like, they were there regardless. I remember seeing them. And then I remember doing some more research on like ufology and all that or whatever, cutting through all the psychobabble. But somebody said that like if you just simply ask to see them, like if you actually have a genuine want to know, they'll come. In which case, I tried that. I think I was coming back home from Wyoming, which is where I used to live. And I remember just driving through this one place, which I only had like an hour back home. In which case, I was just looking around and I just kind of got the feeling. And I was just like, if you guys got something to say to me, just come and say it. As crazy as that sounds, that's what I said. And so it took a while, obviously, but, you know, it eventually happened. And the story pretty much begins like this. Is that one day I was about to go to bed. And this is something that I always kind of wrestled with because I was like, well, I went to sleep, so it must have not been real. But by the end of the story, you'll see why it was. But, so yeah, I was pretty much just thinking about going to bed. And I think I either must have fallen asleep, nor did I just, I don't know, maybe something happened then. But when I woke up, I was just like in this huge room. And like, from what you see in the movies of like the big white rooms, they're like just glaringly bright and they're just like, what in the world is all this? You know, it's like, it was one of those rooms. But this room was not really like that room. Like as far as like its textures and like the white and like the light was not as bright because their lights are so different. A good way to, I guess, explain it is like the room, it looked like it was cut out of a big piece of wax. Like a big piece of white wax. Because all I noticed was like, and this was also something else I kind of thought about was like, all right, maybe I'm not here. Maybe my physical body isn't here, but like that's even still hard to tell. Because like I was conscious. I was conscious. But it was still kind of hard to tell. Because like just definitely room was spinning. It was weird. But yeah, but like what I could feel like on the floor, like it was like warm, it was kind of waxy. Just felt weird, and like what I noticed too is that just the room, it had no corners. Had no corners. It looked like it was completely carved and just no corners. Like from the floor to the wall, it curved. From the wall to the roof, it curved. And the light emanating from there, I didn't even see anything that was producing light. It was just the room itself. In which case, in all the research I had done is like, it's a form of like bioluminescence for them. Or like even sound waves and frequencies, in which case can create light. Sounds weird, but hey, look it up. Like it's actually something scientists are working on. But the room was a bit different because I saw kind of far away that there was a door. And then everywhere else I kind of saw, like I even saw a table. Like, and if you want to say anything crazy right now, like that is what I saw. I saw a table. And it wasn't even like a weird waxy table either. It was a wooden table. Didn't look like it was made on Earth or anything because it was just really different. But wooden table and chairs, that's what I saw. But the room is what mainly got me. And so like I've drawn up depictions of this. I'll put them up as I'm telling the story, but like you know all the way up here like I have been doing. But anyway, so I was just looking around that room and it was just weird. And so I just saw the door ahead and started just walking toward that. But I got stopped. And it wasn't anything completely weird. Well, it was. Funny thing, but it was just a big ball of light. It was like an orb. And like it's still kind of hard to just say what it was. because like it was just a little ball, but I could tell it was sentient. I could tell it was alive, and like it was like this weird, like I don't want to say it's pink, I don't want to say it's purple. It was kind of like somewhere in there, and it was just right there. It was like it was maybe like arm's reach, like how I'm reaching, maybe like as far as like me to the camera right now, and or even me to my wall, like right behind the monitor. And so I just saw it. It was kind of moving a bit, but had no idea what it was. And I didn't even try to touch it or nothing. But it was just there. And then from there, it just kind of shrunk down. And then, like what it created, I have no idea. But it was so cool. Like, it was, like what? Like, almost like fireworks, even. And then it was showing like a whole bunch of different weird stuff. Like, I mean, it was a lot of stuff, so I didn't catch all of it. But like some stuff kind of looked like DNA. Some of it looked like what solar systems. Some looked like neutrons, atoms. Some just like language. Like it's hard to tell. It was hard to tell. It was a lot, but it was so cool. And I just couldn't stop smiling just how awesome that was. Like, dream or not, I thought that was awesome. But, like, it wasn't a dream, but... Anyway, after all that, it got back into itself. It recoalesced. And it just, then had, dare I say it, like Ant-Man from Captain America's Civil War, you know? Like how everybody loves to meme nowadays, you know? Something flew inside me kind of thing. Like, yeah. That was pretty much what happened right there. It just went right through. And like I noticed, and yeah, like this was also something I noticed because I wasn't dreaming, was that usually in my dreams I'm usually wearing clothes. And when I go to sleep, I usually don't wear a shirt. So I was still shirtless. So that was another thing I kind of thought. I just looked down and I just noticed like my chest was glowing without light. Not like big bright or nothing. It was just there. It's almost like when you shine a flashlight onto your finger and you can see through your flesh kind of thing. Like it was just like that. So I don't know what that was, and I don't even know if it's still there. I mean, I imagine it still is. But I just called it my gift from them. And it's the same reason why I'm calling this just like an experience and I don't call it an abduction experience, simply because I've kind of volunteered for it. And, but it was just so much information all at once that like it kind of got broken into two different parts because like I remember the first part, but the second part didn't come back to me till later. And even that's way more fuzzier, like even now. But, anyway, after that, I just simply turned around, noticed that there was another door behind me. And like it wasn't like a door, it was just like it was black. It was like black as oil. But it was open. It wasn't really a door. But anyway, I started walking toward that one. And as soon as I walked out, I just noticed this awesome little like bear with me here, because I don't even know how to explain this either. And I had heard many times from many people that like some ships, like they hijack planets or something like that, or even moons. That's just something I heard, but like even I can't say that's what it was. But it was definitely like I was definitely outside. And let's just say that I was definitely outside. And so I was just walking out. I noticed like three like huts around me, and I walked out of one of them. It honestly felt like I was walking out of the TARDIS. Like, you know, I turned around and looked, and it was just a small hut that I had walked out of, and the room was huge. And so, you know, I'm not sure if it's like a dimensional thing, like little pocket dimension inside there or something. I'm not sure. But what really piqued my interest was like the stars I was seeing. Like the stars were just different and they were way more noticeable. And like what I thought I saw in the back was maybe clouds, maybe mountain range, I don't know. And but like also the surrounding area just around the huts, like it was like a little cement fence or something like that. It was like just a little area. And I was like right in the middle, and in the middle of it had like what looked like a well. And but I looked down it and it wasn't a well, it was just like a stone structure in a circle. But even that, I just had no idea. I was just like looking around. But I got told this, like, I don't know from who. Like, I don't have those details because I can't really tell. But I was just kind of told to turn it on. In which case, this wasn't something, like, this is something I had heard from other accounts too. It was like, whoever's like kind of teaching you how to work their technology kind of stuff. So, like, I just got the feeling it was like a computer or something. In which case, I thought it was a little weird. But I was like, okay. And then just like, I think since I was told like telepathically, I kind of thought like, telepathically, maybe, turn it on, okay? So I did. Told it to turn on and get the same thing almost with the orb. The holograms are like the same colors. And it obviously, I don't think it was working right because obviously, like, I'm just a human and I couldn't exactly probably work that thing correctly. But its holograms were so pristine. Like, it was not like Star Wars. Like, honestly, it was a lot like Black Panther, actually. Like, with their holograms. Like, they were that good. And it actually looked like stuff was there. And even calling it a hologram is a stretch because I don't even know if it was. Like, honestly, everything in this whole experience was so weird and just so alien to me. But like later on though, like that's pretty much what I remember is I just seeing a whole bunch of these weird shapes, like symbols, letters, whatever. And that's mainly what I remember. After that, I backed up, I looked around even more and saw a path leading out, but that was pretty much where the experience for the most part ended, from what I could tell. Because like I knew there was more to it, because like I thought like why would it only stay there? But later on that's where it got a little different because like back then I was like freaking meditation master. Like I could dig stuff out of my brain that I didn't even know about. And like lately I haven't been that well at it, but that's like it's something I wish I can definitely try to get back. But I just dug out like a memory of it that like it was just one little image that just caused it to come back out. But from what I could tell there, it was simply like okay, I walked down the path and then didn't really see much else, but I did see what looked like I don't know, maybe it was like structures or something like that, but they kind of looked like giant crystals. It was very cool. And like they're almost like obelisks or something like that. Almost like like the Washington Monument. Um, but like God, what? And it's like I just saw that, and then I remember talking to somebody, and this guy, like I mainly only remember seeing his face, and now he was human, just like us, but he was a little bit different. His skin was like very pretty white, very fair. Dude was chiseled like a Chad. I mean, like dude, like his chin and all that. It was that freaking crazy. And but the skin looked perfect. Like I had never had a blemish in his life, or had never even aged even. And he had long blonde hair too, but it looked more like a platinum blonde kind of look. I think if that makes sense. It was weird. And dude was just wearing some dark robes. And yet again, I have a depiction of him. It's not a very good one, but it'll give you the point. Get you the message across, basically. But even that, like in that whole conversation, I don't remember much. But mainly what I do remember is that hearing that we're family kind of thing. And now that was something that I still didn't really understand. Is like, I mean, we incarnate, we reincarnate, we do all that stuff, whatever term you want to use, we do that. That's part of our life cycles. And God, like, so that could have meant pretty much anything. Like it could have even meant that he was a past or future version of like where my soul goes. So it was maybe like me, but somewhere else. And like I felt comfortable with him. So like obviously he wasn't a threat. Like he didn't exude like any sort of danger or nothing. I mean, I was just talking to him like he was any other person. Because obviously that's kind of what he was. I mean, his eyes were slightly a bit bigger, but you know what? That stuff like that happens on Earth all the time, so it's not like it was weird. Um, but yeah, I remember him saying that, and so at the same time, though, is all the research I've done in like the last 10 years or so since that time, is that like we come from them, like some people want to say like, oh yeah, aliens, we look like them. No, or like no, they look like us, as we'll say, but it's the other way around. We look like them. So I think when he stated that we were family, I was thinking it was probably for the fact that we're just descendants from them. They're just a more advanced version. But yeah, like that was just such a weird little snippet I got, but that was pretty much all I could remember. And so this video has probably been long enough, but because like sometimes I always like to ramble. But anyway, yeah, after I kind of just woke up from all that and just trying to figure it out, like was that a dream? Was it, what was it? Because like even now it's still hard to tell. Um, but I think it's just kind of, I don't want to say doubt, but it's definitely, I don't know. But definitely later on, though, he came back and he let me know that was not a dream at all. Because in like I was like, if I was in a dreamlike state or whatever it was, later on he did come back, and this time it was a little bit backwards than how we first met because at that time I was actually sleeping because I remember I was having a dream. And I usually remember my dreams, especially like right afterward, and when I wake up, and then I forget about it throughout the day. Um, but like I remember having this dream. I remember waking up because like at the time I lived at my dad's, and I thought my dad was waking me up for something, you know, but it was still pretty dark, and so all I remember is like feeling like maybe even a tap on the shoulder. I don't know. But I was just sitting there sleeping. I woke right up and I saw somebody standing right next to my bed, and I thought that was my dad. So I was like, "Hey, what's up?" I was like, "Oh, hey, what's up?" And then as soon as I looked up, I noticed it was not my dad. It was that guy again, and I didn't know how to react honestly because like I seriously jumped out the other side of my bed like and like I don't know how it would have been if somebody had seen that. Like they would have looked like I was crazy. But yeah, jumped to the other side of my bed, turned right around, and for that split second, I mean he was there, and then once I turned around and looked back, he wasn't there. And you could chalk that up to a hallucination. You could chalk that up to even dreaming. But as I always like to do, like I always like to test it too. So I didn't just go back to sleep. I stayed up. It was probably like 4 in the morning, and I was like, I never get up at 4 in the morning. So I stayed up. I stayed up for like I don't know how long. It was probably like a couple more hours or something because I was like, if I'm dreaming, this is obviously gonna end. But it didn't. Like he was there, and I saw him, and it was very strange. But that's pretty much the entire story, really. So take it as you will, because like these stories aren't hard to tell for a lot of people, you know, and sometimes they're even hard for me to tell. But like, you know, they're like some people think that this kind of thing doesn't happen that often. It does, actually. If you look at actual statistics and people seeing stuff like that, like UFOs, even like abductions, it actually happens more than you think. And honestly, I think it's because, yeah, we're getting into we've already gone like astrologically, like the astrology thing. We have gotten into the age of Aquarius, which is supposed to be like coming into a golden age for humankind. And so maybe that's why it's it. Maybe we're starting to actually learn. Maybe we're actually starting to learn from our mistakes, like all of like Earth. Maybe, but also maybe not. Maybe we need a little nudge. I don't know. But also, like I was saying, I was right when I was getting this reel. Well, it's a short on YouTube as well. It was the Hanged Man one. I just actually uploaded that. But I did see something on the news about President Trump saying that we are ready to hear that stuff. And now, if I was to tell you everything, this would take hours, maybe even days. But all I have to tell you guys, like really though, is that like end of the video sort of conclusion thing. But this stuff, yeah, it's scary at first. It absolutely is to figure all this stuff out. And I think that's why a lot of us have already been tapped in like so early before all this stuff, like even if it does get released, because we don't know. President Trump still has like 3 more years. So who knows, he could do it. But even if it doesn't, even if it does, like, I mean, we're here to soften the blow. And, you know, I'm one out of millions who are going to be softening the blow from this thing. Because, like, what we got to tell you is, like, there are good ones and there are bad ones. Like they're a lot more like us than you think because we are them, right? So, yeah, like, there's exactly the same thing in everything. It's good and bad people, like we have here. We have good and bad people of every race, of every religion, of every orientation. Dare I say it? I really don't care. But, like, there's good and bad in everything, in everybody. So, that's just how it is out there, too. I mean, it's a universal balance to things. Darkness and light, God and the devil, whatever you want to say. Yin and yang, whatever. But that's just how it is. And so, like, meeting our ancestors from the stars, like, that's awesome. And because, like, all the research I've ever done, so do primitive tribes. Like, every single place, any place from our ancient history says we're from the stars. And I believe them. I really do. Because, like, there's just so much stuff that can give you that. But you know what? If you're watching because you want to hear a crazy person ramble, that's fine with me. I don't really care. Simply because, like, this is something that's bigger than all of us. And, you know, I just want to get it out. I want to get people to tell their stories too and not feel bad for telling them, because there's been a lot of us, and getting on camera is hard to do with this kind of thing, as I've said ad nauseum. But it really is. Like, I even still feel nervous right now talking. Like, nothing like my other videos. So, that's just really what I wanted to say, is like, this stuff is real. It's coming. It's here already, really. And now they're here to help us or not help us or whatever. I mean, this stuff's going to be coming out soon. Most likely. And so, that's pretty much where I leave it here. Because I just don't really know what else to say. Well, so anyway, Thanks for watching. If you watch the entire thing, I really appreciate it. And hopefully I reached out to somebody that could, hear that. So, thank you for listening again. You can hit the subscribe, you can hit the likes, you can comment, whatever you want. I'm not really feeling like pulling out the shameless hooks and everything, like, subscribe, all that stuff, because this is just story time, so I don't really care. Next ones, I'll be back to saying that, but not this one. But thanks for listening, guys. Like, I truly do appreciate it. So, hope you guys have a nice rest of your day, and just don't worry about it. Just don't worry about it, okay? All right, see ya.